I just told you who I thought I was, a god.
So let's talk a little bit here. Real quick, I'm gonna end it on this. This is just kind of a throw out. We talked about this the other day. Did you see the Kanye West documentary?
I did.
Okay.
I was very impressed. Cootie did a fantastic job with that, man. It's real good.
That shit was hard.
I'm not. Kanye's lost his fucking mind. He's up there. He's a genius when it comes to music. I like a lot of his beats, a lot of his old music. He's a genius with the marketing shit. He's crazy as hell. Like, dude, and I feel bad, honestly, in a way. Like, he's to such a level where it's like almost like no one can't tell him nothing.
Yeah.
It definitely has some mental health shit going on. Like, but
let me ask you a question.
Dope to be able to put all that back and see all that.
But let me ask you a question. What do you think about the fact that a part of being an artist, part of being creative like that requires a little bit of mad genius behavior, you know?
Yeah. You have to be to like
you see it in the documentary. He's walking around like, I'm the greatest, I'm the best there ever is, you know? And recently in an interview, I heard him say, I only do that because that's how Ali talked. And, you know, and we do the shit too. You know, we do the shit. Like I asked you recently, I said, yo, you know, who made that beat? And you're like, come on, son, what you think? You know, like that's kind of a hip hop thing, you know? So I think what I saw by him putting that documentary out, very vulnerable, because he's a mama's boy. He's kind of real homely, and he's kind of like constantly pushing his greatness on people. It's like, I'm great. I want you to know, you know? So it's hard to watch from that perspective. But you got to remember, too, like that was a time, bro, where there was no social media. Yeah. Like when he's going through the offices, bro, and he's bouncing from office to office, and like one girl's like, oh, that's so dope. And the next girl's like, please turn the cameras off. And he's trying to play it for everybody in the office and get their feeling and get his name in their ears. And, you know, it was interesting to see that hustle because you and I come from that. I remember having to go to the radio station with my CD, with my cassette tape, and be like, yo, can you play this, please? Or, you know, show up to the show and beg the DJ, yo, man, you think you can at least just, even if you don't play it tonight, can you take a copy? It's not like that no more. Now we just SoundCloud, Instagram, iTunes, you good.
Yeah,
you know?
And that was like that, like in Florida too, like going up to Rollins and just going up there and listening on set. And then all of a sudden I'm live on the radio. They playing the shit. Then they like, yo, come back up for interviews.
Yeah.
So like I would go up there and do, like it was the same thing. Like
that's a great example
in New York, like early 2000s, like in New York. And I'm, you know, what I mean, we bust around Brooklyn doing shows, doing
New York City,
doing promotion for other. Like I worked for this company that did like flyers and posters and promotion. We would be delivering the shit, but we would get in, make our own flyers. We had shows we set up, going, like you said, going into the little radio stations, into little clubs, into little spots, giving them the demo
hands on,
and rock and right. Sometimes they'd be like, yeah, whatever. They go to like and then we just start rocking right in front of them.
Sure.
You know what I mean? For real, like man would start beatboxing, man had guitars, maybe some shit.
Yep, let me spit you some shit real quick. Let me spit you some shit, you know? Yeah.
And they picked the CD back up and be like, all right. And then, like, I walked into a tattoo shop in Brooklyn to get a tattoo. And I'd never been in this, but it was like somewhere, where was I? I was in Williamsburg or something. And I lived, we lived in Bushwick. So, like, I lived in Staten Island. I moved back and I worked in Brooklyn. But I was living on.
You've been everywhere.
I was living on Great Kills out in on Staten. So we would go, you know what I mean, we would go into like these different spots and shit and just like have to do that, like have to hand the music and spit and put up our own flyers and put up our own stickers, our own posters. And then I go into this tattoo shop and they're not playing, they're playing an old CD of my old group, the Audio Composers League, that's on some Everglades shit. It's like instrumentation. We're all rapping, singing up the Everglades, in the Everglades, leaving me alone. And they're playing the shit in a tattoo shop in Brooklyn. And the dude's going to do my tat. And then my other homie comes in and they like happen to know each other. And I was like, yo, where did you get this CD? He was like, yo, I love this group. I play this shit all the time. And I was like, I'm bad vibes. Like he's like, you're bad vibes from ACL?
Okay.
Like, oh no. And I'm like, in fucking Brooklyn, they're playing some Everglades CD that I put out 10 years ago.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, yo, that's bugged. Like, but we
Small
still have to, and go put out, like, do the shit ourselves. Really go out there and like show and prove the shit. Like, really do that. Like, go to shows and sometimes have to rush the shit.
And
like,
you know what? That touches on the putting out the CD and the tape and the vinyl and all of that, because again, here's a reason that it may last. You know, even if there's only 100 fucking CD players left on the earth and there's 100 CDs, yours might be one of those, you know?
yeah.
You stand a chance, I guess, right?
I got a CD burner that would burn like 7 at a time, and I would make mix CDs of like underground hip hop shit, and I would slide some of my songs in the mix.
Right.
CD.
Yeah. That's an old trick.
And I'd sell them and shit, and sometimes give away a joint with, you know what I'm saying? And like, yo, you know what I mean? Yeah, like $10 a piece, 2 for $15 shit. You can get these couple different mixtapes. Yep. It was some fly shit with some little art, and I would just make some bread, like, but it wasn't even about making all the bread. It was
very different back then, man.
To make some scratch, but it was
back then you had to put out CDs. You literally had to be a door-to-door salesman.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Oh, we were out the
because
trunk.
there was no way. There was no go listen to my shit here. You had to force someone to play it in order for people to hear it. So you had to remember when they used to do demo nights on radio stations.
Yep.
They'd be like, "Call in with your demo and we'll play it live. Call in with your demo now and we'll play it live." Right? Think about that. Oh, so you know, very different times now.
You used to call in and battle people on the, like, when we still had cord phones and flip, like, and be calling in and battling people on the radio. You know what I mean? Like,
so let me ask you a question. Who are you guys targeting for the distribution of your shit? Are you just relying like on the internet to get it out? Or are you guys going to be hitting certain DJs and certain outlets and things like that?
At first, and I do just happen to know some ill DJs and some people that are able to, that work in radio in different states and different places where I'll be able to give them the music to play. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's going to be like, it's real grassroots, like old style, the way we're able to distribute online and streaming, like I said, and all that. Set up our own website, get our traffic in to where then like merch and like I said, physical copies and then obviously if it goes bigger than that, and then any future projects, things like that, then we go from there, and we own everything ourselves. So then if you want to go through distribution or go, then that when we get to that bridge, then, you know what I mean, we'll be ready to just figure out the best we want to do.
It's just interesting to me if there's even any terrestrial radio play, you know, like you think about it now, man, like
I don't listen to
I mean, like even if you're listening to terrestrial radio, you're listening to talk radio. You're not even listening for music the way you used to. You go elsewhere for music now.
That's what, like I've said it, and I've it's on, like my shit was called Anti-FM. That was like how I was made it up myself. Anti-FM, and like I got the logos and shit. I put my shit out on Anti-FM, like almost like some fuck the radio shit. Like because I mean
that's the era we came up in, you know.
Yeah,
the radio was always playing garbage, but now there's no radio at all. Like, there's not even, you know, like even the garbage on the radio is so thin and like, you know, it's kind of what MTV is doing, where they're going from MTV's going from like, you know, we're playing music videos to we're not. Now the radio's doing that. They're like, well, we got Charlemagne the God and Angela Yee, you know, that can sit here and talk to you for 4 hours in the morning. Where that shit used to be, you know, it used to be a little different, I guess. But either way, I mean, it is what it is. You still got to target those avenues, I guess. And because like a lot of these, a lot of these rappers wouldn't be shit without like Shady 45. And the problem with that is satellite radio, that's a subscription service.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's really weird right now, the way distribution works.
My shit too is like making the album, getting a buzz on it, getting some shit out there, and then having these different markets that I do have fans in and go do live shows. Like do live shows and sell the merch at the shows and give out shit, even like give out some free music, sell some music.
But you think it's easy to do shows out here, man? I feel like it's gotten harder to do a show out here, man.
Yeah, but
meaning in the States.
There's a lot of places though that
I think you got to leave the country.
I did that shit, and like I said, from like the late '90s through the 2000s. That's all I was doing. We was going, and like even and it was fucked up with ACL, Audio Composers League, when there's like 6 of us plus we got the live band, 2 DJs. We got like
that's tough. That's tough.
We would make enough bread to like just to get out there to do, you know what I mean? And I would tell them, like, since I was using other people's equipment some of the times, my thing was I always had a hustle everywhere I go. So I would go out there and hustle and wouldn't worry about, I'm making a bunch of bread off a show. We was spending money to do shows. We weren't paying to do the show, but by the time you get paid, but we had people
you break even or you're broke, yeah.
Yeah, and the bands would like our live band
got a lot of people to feed.
They loved the shit so much, and they loved performing with us doing it, that they would bring their own cars and caravan out to fucking across the country and play out shows with us.
They're doing it for the love. I remember, there was a lot of that. We did Cormega. Cormega came through Orlando, and we were the ones that were hired to do the sound. Me, my father, my Realm Z family. There's like 5 or 6 of us there bringing in equipment. And I remember, like, I walked up on him, and he's in the back of the club like this. And I walked up and I'm like, yo, we got the sound set ready. You want to do a check? If you want to do a mic check, come through. I'm back in the back. My name's Frank, blah, 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 whatever. By the way, I'm a big fan, this, that, and the third. And he went from this to like, yo, what's up? You say you a fan? But and we had a quick conversation. And he was like, I was kind of feeling depressed until you came up, man. I felt like I was in the city that nobody knows me. And I said, sir, you need to rest assured. You're very well known here. I said, give it a little time. I know you're seeing this empty club right now. And sure enough, place got packed. And he went all out. And later on, he came up to me. He's like, yo, I wanted to thank you for warming me up to this shit. And he started telling me about, I don't make a lot of money doing this. Check out the tour bus outside. It's a U-Haul van. It was like this whole thing about how I'm doing this for the love. I'm not even making money. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I was like, wow, and it opened my eyes. It was like he was giving me a little gem of like, be careful with this business, bro. You know what I mean? Because you're doing it for the love. Yeah. You're doing it for you and nobody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Shout out Core Mega. It's my homie on Instagram, man. He's good. He's good people.
Shout out Mega.
For sure. So, yo, my mans, we've been on this stream for about almost 2 hours, I want to say. We tapped in. We talked about Eskimo Brothers. We talked about the mixtape industry. We gave Kanye West a little love on this one. We talked about some of your art projects. I wanted to thank you, man. I appreciate this. This is kind of like a test run for me. I'm trying to make sure shit works, but I found that you can't just be stagnant and like, it's got to be perfect. I need an intro and I need to have an outro and I have to have a DJ and the lights. Sometimes you just got to do shit, man, and just get it out there. So hopefully someone will get value off of this, man. My brother, Walt G.
We got a place. Always good to build with you. And like I said, when I'm down there in the physical, we're going to link up.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes, please do.
We'll get something set up.
Please do. Even if we only hang out for little, our small hangouts last a long time. It's a small dose that just goes forever. You're like, wow, wigging out, bro. You know what I mean? So,